This is a brief demo of the lung volume trigger system. This is the actual controller box. We just turned it on. It's connected to the ventilator. It's getting its pressure signal from the ventilator, which we're using as an analog of lung volume. And you can set it to two different trigger modes. One is at a % of volume, which you dial in using this calibrated control, and that's the blue line on the screen. And you can also see it's telling you what the pressure is, so that's triggering at 5 centimeters of water. And on the oscilloscope here, we're showing the blue line there is the output TTL pulse, and you can see where it's triggering, and I'll just change the position. And now it's triggering at about 11 centimeters of water. Now the other mode is what we call zero mode, and that is at resting lung volume. So what's happening is the sensors in here are waiting for the pressure to drop close to zero, and then waiting for a preset time to make sure that it's staying at zero, and then it outputs the pulse. And you can see on the oscilloscope that pulse is occurring during the zero phase, where it would be at FRC, or functional residual capacity of the lungs. And the unit connects directly to our SAR 1000 ventilator, but it can be used with any other ventilator system. Right now it's getting its power and signals by a single cable from the ventilator, but you can also use it separately. It has a provision for an external power adapter you plug in there, and then you can use the external pressure inlet here, which will connect up to any pressure signal. And as long as the scaling is correct, then all the calibrations will be correct. And of course you can enable or disable the output with this one switch. So now it's not delivering an output pulse. Okay, now I'll just illustrate some of the internal functions and setup, which you really only have to do probably one time or as needed. So if you just press the function button, it moves you to this menu, and then you turn it to select the function you want to change. So this is pressure scaling, which is the on this graph, it's the scaling in centimeters of water for full scale. So if we select that, it's now at 30 centimeters. I'll double that to 15, press the button, and it'll return. And now you can see you've enlarged the sensitivity of the screen. So that was one. Then there's the hold time is that time that it waits once it senses a zero pressure, and has default values, but you can change it to anything you want. These are in milliseconds, and this just ensures that it's always the scan will occur, the trigger for the scan will occur at the right point. And let's see, there's the zero level is it's in centimeters of water, and it just sets a threshold of pressure that the instrument looks for to detect zero. So if you had a really noisy signal, or it was somehow you had a little bit of zero offset, you can change that, and all of these functions will time out. So if you accidentally hit something, it'll just recover itself in about 10 or 15 seconds. And in the background, even while you're doing these functions, the background triggering is always going on. So that doesn't stop, that's running in the background. And those are basically the current functions of this.